Hey guys, it's Cassandra from Beads to Live By. Almost started to bring my phone camera, which is the one I use for the bead view of things, on without muting and doing all of those good things. Because if you don't mute the second camera and do other special things, it really makes an awful noise. Kind of like if you're if you're at a concert and somebody gets the mic too close to the speaker. It's basically what's happening. But yeah. So just getting all that sorted out. Gotta make sure I've got my camera facing the right direction too when I go bring that into the mix. So we're very close. Oh, how is everybody doing tonight? We're going to give everybody a little minute to pop on here. There it is, as it should be. Showing off probably all sorts of things, but specifically we're looking for this these examples of this cute little chain stitch we're going to learn tonight. Still got to pick out my beads that I'm going to be working with. So it might take me a second to decide on that. It's always good to use things that you guys can see really well. So that's not a challenge, but it definitely is a bit more. There's a little more thought that goes into it because I want them to look good together. Hey, Deb of Deb Loves Jewelry. If you hear the whining in the background, it's my sad, sad dog because she doesn't get to like run amok in the yard and, I don't know, go chew on sticks and ingest them. So, oh my word. Yeah, just one of those nights. Dad dog had to go do a little bit of work too. I'm gonna throw my hand in the mix here while I'm finishing giving you guys the supply list. I'm almost done with that, and then I'll get my beads and get started. But it's always good to give you guys a little bit of time to pop on here. So let's see. We've got the seed beads. We've got the bicones. That is about it, I guess. I mean, so the necklace is a little bit more involved, but this is the gist of it. Rosalinda, you could hear that puppy a mile away, huh? She just wants her Auntie Rosie. So this sample is the one I finished off yesterday and has a lot going on, a lot more than just like the simple chain. So I'll talk about how I put this together after we do the stitch tutorial, but this is the tutorial itself. The cute little, it's like a very modern sort of daisy chain for me, the way those little bicones sit. And you could use crystals, but I really feel like there is a specific effect you get from the shape and colors of these check bicones in the glass. So, and they coordinated so well. I pulled out this. So this is pre-beaded chain. This is something we saw on our website. And it's so helpful to have that to create, it's like I wanted at least 2 layers, maybe even 3. And that chain just like layered right up with the stitched one. This was my original sample that I started with as far as the colors go. There's that baby dog again. Waffles. Come on, baby girl. Hopefully she settles down. Thought she was just going to lay down in her little bed here, but Aw, thanks, Deb. I appreciate it so much. Rosalinda, if you were nearby, you would get her every time I needed to do one of these videos because she is just a little bit too much. But this is the color bicone I'm working with tonight, and I should be paying more attention to the colors that I'm using so I can tell you guys about them. And I will at least drop the link to all of those. Those are specifically the really unique bead that I think we're one of the few people that carry this. And we have them in a handful of colors, and I linked them all. So if you guys aren't part of our Facebook group, Beads in Progress, I've got a picture up that I posted today of this project, and then I linked the different products in the comments of that picture that I posted. So it's kind of a nice, concise place where you can find everything, but you have to like answer a question, I think, to join the group. So just filters out any of the spam or like fake accounts that would otherwise infiltrate the group. You would think it's a good thing you guys know me, right? And you know I'm not sitting over here torturing this dog somehow, because someone would assume based on her behavior that she's being tortured. But anyways, I just in the comments linked these bicone beads. And it's going to take a minute, so it's kind of a tease to even tell you guys, but I have got some really fun summery colors coming. So I would say sometime early May, hopefully, those will hit the website and the bead store. And I have somehow managed to block my ability of being able to open my own cabinet. Hot Mess Express, however that works. You know what? I've been working on all these brighter colors. Oh no. This darker one would be easier for you guys to see what I was doing. So that would be good. And it's got a purpley hue to it, so that's kind of nice too. I just want to make sure, you know what, and then I've got the gold. I've got a gold 15 that apparently I'm going to use on all of my samples because that's what we do. Oh, Rosalinda loves that design in. Got some of those big ones from us. Rosalinda, are you talking about the flower or the chain maybe? Either way, the flower is a large boho flower. We have that listed on the website as well. Oh, the bicones, yes. And the dogs are like children. They just need and want you when you're busy. That is very true. So you're fine, Rosalinda. I understood what you were saying in general anyways. Oh, I don't know. Is this really the color? So the other thing about this design is I did actually use 2 colors of 11s in this sample, and I'm going to do that here as well. So I think I'll do one for the chain and one for the accents. But if at any point you guys cannot understand me because of the dog, please let me know, because other than that, I don't need to worry about her, but I want you to be able to hear me. So that cornflower blue in the strip of Ndebele is the 111 color, and then these beads that are just like kind of popping out of the bicones is the second color, and that's an 11 still. The gold beads along the edge of that cornflower blue, those are the 15s, and that is the difference in the seed beads that I'm using in this sample. So you can see the difference between these two. I used the same 11 through the middle in the Ndebele or herringbone. That's the stitch that's there. And then with the bicones, this is all the same color 11 in the like pink and red sample. So that's kind of the difference there. I need to turn my screen brightness up a little so I can actually see what I'm showing you guys and how much you can see too. So I think I'm going to use these 2 colors of 11s, and there's various places you can find seed beads on our website. The curated collections is one place, and then we have a whole seed bead section as well. That area is a little bit under construction still from our previous change of website last year, because we went right from having to change our website. Well, it's not really the website, it's our in-store point of sale, but it affected our website. And then from there, went into the purchasing of our new building, which if you've been following us, has, come to its conclusion as far as the move itself goes. But now there's a lot of like additional organization and cleanup from that whole process that needs to happen. So the website is one of those things that's still getting added to and evolving. But I'm hoping to, in case you're watching and have been following some of our posts the last few days, I want to go live on Facebook for a few minutes after this to show off some new bundles that we've got ready for spring. And I will keep you posted on my timing of that versus what's happening here. But just need to find, I really hope I left one spool of thread over here I can use. I don't really, you know what? Maybe white would be, really wanted to use gray just because that's a fairly neutral color. I have several other things over here, but so I'm working with, this is like written all over, but I've got my wildfire thread, and this is a 10-pound. They never say it anywhere on the spool. I think the diameter 0.006 might be the same on several of their weight differences, but the 10-pound, I've got their label covered up. 0.15 millimeter. There's a spot where it says the pound, or not the poundage. It says something that it might just be the diameter. That 0.006 is what you're looking for. But if you don't see it listed on our website, it's not for the fact that we don't have it. It's just one of those little things about the fact that we had to change the website not that long ago and make other adjustments over the last 2 years. So all that to say, you can get it from us, and we're happy to sell it to you if you need it. So I just cut myself 2 yards. I think 2 yards is probably plenty to do a bracelet. And this one I think I'm going to do as a wrap bracelet. I think I'll make a single loop of a bracelet for the colors I'm working in tonight. Just going to find myself a needle somewhere on my bead board here. And I'm going to give you guys the pretty, not the pretty view, but the like less messy view of my bead board, because here, we'll show you real life here. That's the other end of it. But there, we'll give you just the fancy end. And then for those who have not seen me thread a needle before, there's not anything crazy to it, but I've already flattened the end of my wildfire because it is probably technically thicker than the eye of your needle. And then we're going to take the eye of the needle and go over, and just like that. So when I'm holding the end of my thread, it's like you cannot really see the very tip of it. It's hiding between my fingers, and that's how you stabilize the thread. Oh, somebody just came over and put her paws on me and like pushed off of me. Come here, baby girl. Here. I think someone was just feeling like she was not getting the proper attention and stardom that she deserves. So that's Waffles. For everyone who's watching who's not following us on social media, doesn't realize where the cute little doggy noises are coming from. She's just feeling very neglected. She had a cousin visiting for the last week, staying with us. So that was probably the other part. Okay, can you come over here? Oh, she's caught in my sweater now. Her toenails are a little long. Oh my goodness. I think somebody just wants to sit in my lap. We'll see how this goes. So the needle threading, there's a trick. You know, the trick to it is sniffing the camera, moving it around. The trick to it is like getting that end of your thread so that you're not hardly able to see it between your fingers, because that's what's going to stabilize it so that you can actually managed to get it through the eye there. Well, Waffles, pick over here. She's got a bed right next to my work desk because of situations like this. And I was really hoping that she would calm down. So I changed my mind about using the dark color as the main color. I'm hoping that we can see this. No, I'm gonna have to use that for the sake of the video. You guys are not gonna be able to see what I'm doing if I use that accent color for that part. It's fine. So we've got 2 colors of 11s. The gold is our 15. I'm gonna use that dark color for the Ndebele or herringbone, which will be with the 15s. And then these are my bicones here. And I'll leave like maybe a few of those sitting there so you can kind of see the end result. So on about, again, 2 yards of the wildfire, I've got my needle threaded. I'm going to put 2 size 11 seed beads on. And when you're working with herringbone or Ndebele, it's the same thing, just there's several names for it. You have to do something called a ladder stitch to get started. So all that means is that you're taking 2 beads to start and then 1 at a time after for traditional single bead rows. And they're gonna end up sitting side by side so that the holes are facing away from one another. So right now the holes line up and they're like going the same direction. This is the tail end of my work that's down below my thumb here. So this part of my strand is the tail. And I'm going to go from the tail side, which is the end furthest away from my needle. I'm going to go through that bottom bead there. And that is going to allow me, I'm going to continue to hold on to that piece of thread. That's going to allow me when I pull the thread through, see how this bead is caught in a loop and I'm holding the other bead in my finger. And when you pull that gently, it doesn't have to be super tight. That's how they sit. So like one's off to the side. So that's the ladder. And you can continue on with this by, you would want to go through this bead before you add it anymore, but you can create as wide of an Ndebele base as you want. That is another lesson for another time. So here we are going to take that little base, the little ladder stitch. We're going to add 2 more size 11 seed beads in the same color for the herringbone. And I'm holding this upside down technically, like my thumb and my finger up here are holding on to the tail end, but that's just easiest for me to demonstrate the stitch. And I encourage you to hold things so that they actually sit easily and you don't have to contort your body in order to do the stitching. So I'm coming out of one bead and going through the other one. So right now my needle is going towards the tail of my project. Once I go through those beads, I'm going to hold on to them with my fingers. And when you pull everything taut, you've got a little stack that sits in a chevron sort of fashion. Now, before you can add any more beads, right now we're all the way down on the bottom of our work. So we add 115, and this is how we get up to the top of our work to add the next layer of Ndebele. We're going to go through just like that. Only that top bead on the side that we're working on. When you hold on to everything and keep it taut, the 15 will sit off to the side and just gives you a little like frilly edge. So I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It's one of those nights that we, like had plans to make some dinner, do everything a certain way, and I scheduled food to be delivered before I got on this video because Chris had to leave at the last minute. He's a real estate agent. And I was just like, I'm going to be so hungry by the time I'm done doing this video. I've got chicken that wasn't even defrosted yet. So And Waffles is just as forlorn as the rest of us are. So, all right. Everything is sitting just so. I'm going to keep flipping this around because that's how you will have to be able to work with it, because you cannot manage a bead project sitting the same direction and facing the same way the entire time you're working on it. You have to be able to like flip it and move it around. So orient yourself. I've got the bottom and the tail end held between my finger and thumb here, and this is the top end up here. I've got 2 size 11s on my needle, and I'm going to go down through. So I'm coming up on the left side in this image. I'm going to go down through the right side. And if you hold everything carefully and give a gentle, snug pull, that is what you are going to see next. Rosalinda. Chris and I take turns cooking, but it definitely is more my lot in life to make sure we have food available to cook and kind of plan that out. And so if that's not the case, then somebody's ordering dinner. So I've got my 15 on my needle. I'm on, in this image, the right side of my work. And you have to go up through that topmost bead of your stack, but only through that single bead. And then once you get your needle through there, you want to hold on to all of those beads at the top of your work, because it's going to pull them out of whack if you don't. And you see how tight I grip them? Get those little indentations in my fingers. I don't know if there was an update in the software that I use for these streaming live videos, but it seems like my hand cam is behaving a lot better than it has been lately. And again, for anyone who doesn't have animals, who does not follow us to know how cute Waffles is most of the time, I apologize for all the whining. I know if I let her outside, she's going to be a maniac. So once you get everything pulled into place, you've got these cute little stacks going on. We're coming out. I've flipped it so that my thread is coming out on the left-hand side, but I've just, turned my work over. I've got 2 11s on my needle, and I'm going to go down through that empty right top bead, just the one again. All right. It's a repeat like that until I have 5 15s on one side and 4 15s on the other. And I will show you what I mean, but I'm going to speed this process up. Stop. Somebody is now digging at my sweater with her nails. Yeah, Rosalinda, she knows how to pull on the heartstrings. She knows how to push some buttons. She just sees the sun kind of came out a little bit, and I think she wants to be able to run around in the yard a little. Oh, goodness. I'm trying to flip this around. If she would have sat still on my lap when I had her there, I would have let her stay there. But, she really was not behaving herself. And now she's really... Do you want me to pick you up? Come here. Let me pick you up. Come. You want a cookie? Yes, I am not above tricking the dog. Okay, well, she is in a mood. So yeah, her cousin, Roxy, was staying with us for a week and just left yesterday. And Roxy is like a 4-pound min pin, and Waffles is a chonky 16 pounds or 17 pounds. She's not as small of a girl as we thought she would be, but she's not overweight or anything. She's very athletic and built like a little tank. So I was afraid she was going to crush the other dog most of the time. She's a very sweet animal, both Waffles and Roxy, but Waffles is the alpha in our house because she can be, because Walter's very timid with her. And Roxy's used to being the boss of her house because Roxy's an only dog. So, there were some like little snarl fests. And I think even though Waffles was like regularly trying to put Roxy in her own, put Roxy in her place, Waffles still, I think, really enjoyed the interactions because Walter is just not as social as Roxy was more social. Oh, I've been speeding along and created a little mess for myself there. This is a somewhat easily fixed mess, luckily. So adding 2 11s at a time, and then when you get to the sides, you're adding 1 15 at a time to get up to the next layer. We're just repeating that process. Waffles seems to have calmed down and made her peace with her lot in life currently. And I have sped through this little strip. So you can make these as long or short as you want. If you want to be consistent, count those 15s along the side and just make sure you do the same amount every time. So I've gotten to the point where this is the same length I've been doing the rest of these, and I've got 5 of those 15s on the right-hand side in this image, or the left-hand side, and 4 beads on the right. I'm hoping I haven't been reversing the sides of the screen the whole time in my conversation with you all. So this is where if you're using 2 11s, you're going to switch colors, and this will help you guys keep track of what's happening too. Oh, now we have a toy. So coming out of the 1 11 at the top of our work, you just added a 15 last in case you're wondering what the last step was, and then moved up through that 11. I've got color B on my needle, and I'm going to go down through the other 11 at the top of the stack. So there's like, you're coming out of 1 11, you're going down through the other one. So when you do that, it's going to sit like a little centered bead going the opposite direction of the previous beads. So from this spot, I'm going to have to go through the bead and then reorient myself. We're going to go up through. So you see how you're coming out of the 1 11, and that was, we were facing that direction. So now we're going up through the other 11 facing this direction. So we're going to pull our thread. You'll see a little loop, but it'll disappear under the beads. And then we're going to go through the 11 there. And for this next part, I'm going to let the darn dog out the door, and I'll be right back. Maybe she will get into trouble out there, but it'll be quiet in here. You are so naughty. Actually, nope, you're going in the house. I don't want to reward this behavior. Go lay down, okay? I don't know if she's going to be less noisy in the house than she just was, but okay. So here we go. Coming out of that new 11, we are going to add 4 of those bicone beads. Just the bicones. I know there's beads in between them in the pictures. I promise I'll tell you that part too. So I've got 4 of those on there, and we're going to go through the 11 so our thread's coming out of what's the bottom of the screen right now. So I'm going through the top side of that bead. And again, the directions are only based on the way I'm holding those things at the moment, not an overall expression of the placement. So that is what they're going to look like when you pull everything taut. Now those beads are very loose. You have to kind of hold on to them, and then we're going to go through that first bicone that's closest to where our thread was coming out. Thank you for understanding, Rosalinda. I hope it didn't show. I was getting very frustrated with her, and I'm never mean to her. It ends up making me sad because I am feeling kind of helpless and don't want you guys to have a bad experience. So appreciate everybody's patience. So coming out of that next bicone, we're going to add 111 in that accent color or color B, the second color we're using, and go through the next bicone. And you're going to do this all the way around those bicones, but you're only going to end up adding 3 beads because you've got one at that base of it that's attached to the herringbone section. So when you go through the last bicone, make sure you still just go through just the bicone, because we're going to skip over our 11s that are in between the bicones, and we're going to go get to a point where we're able to so I'm only going through bicones. Your thread will, as long as you don't get it twisted up around the 11s. So we skipped this 11 here and this 11 here, but we need to go through this 11 because we are going to start our next herringbone section. And there's ways you probably could do this where you would do separate sections and then connect them. I think it's way too easy just to replicate what we've been doing in a few simple steps. So coming off of this little accent 11, it's basically like you're going to create a tiny ladder to start your next herringbone. I've got 2 of that first color of 11 on here, and I'm going to go through that bead. Again, we're making a big loop, so our thread was coming out of the bottom here, and we're going to go through the top of that bead. And it really sits side to side when we hold it this direction. And then those 11s are sitting just so, and our thread's coming out on this on the right side. I think that's part of it, is when I turn my head to the right, it looks left on the screen. So for you guys, the right-hand side of the work is where the thread's coming out. So you're going up through that 11 on that side of the work. And this, everything else is a repeat. And you can attach everything very differently when you're doing clasps and necklace components and all that. But I've got 2 11s on here. I'm going down through the opposite 11 from where I was coming out. And then I am adding 115, and we're going to go back up. All sorts of waffle hair is involved in this project now. Back up through just the 111 at the top of the stack there. Had to make sure that was obvious. Thank you so much, Rosalinda. It's really nice to know, like, all of us pet parents have some of the same issues back and forth. And, you know, I just don't know how she's going to react if she's like in the house. Like, she's got some separation anxiety. So I didn't want to just throw her back into the living room and shut the door and like separate her from me. I thought she'd be worse than she was being out here, but sounds like she just went and laid down somewhere. So there's that. Go tortured poor Walter, who knows? But the rest of this is just a repeat to what you were doing already. And that's how you get that little cluster of beads to sit between your herringbone sets. And you can make these sections as long or short as you want. 1 tube of, I don't know where my little tube of those beads went, but like 1 tube of the bicones will complete a good length of necklace chain. I think this one's probably close to 17, 18 inches. And I had plenty in my tube for that, plus some. So that is all there is to it. And gosh, these colors would have been the ones to work with on camera. Very easy to see. So I can also, in our group that I was mentioning, post pictures close up I used this beaded chain. So on the loop end of my toggle, Deb says one of her cats was walking around the house yowling the other day while she was live. Oh gosh. So the beaded chain is connected at the same point as my stitched chain with a jump ring on this end of the necklace. But then on this end, I've got a jump ring with my 2 chains attached. And I took a little piece of the beaded chain and used that on the other side of the jump ring to attach this end of my toggle, because if I attached my toggle directly to this bar end to the jump ring, that jump ring's too big and it would not fit through my toggle ring loop thing. So that is why that is set up the way it is. But I also stitched the stitched chain so that it would sit just inside of the beaded chain length that I wanted. So that's another consideration. And then finally, this little, it's called a bail if it's something that attaches a pendant to another strand of something for a necklace. And I created this little pendant with my flower by just using a strip of that Ndebele herringbone chain. And it's all, just like the same techniques we were just using, and just looped to come to a point at the top of the flower. And then there's a tiny seed bead stopping the flower from coming off of the thread at the bottom here, but that part blends right in. So as you can see, the orangey colors really get popped by the pendant is more orange than the beads here. And these beads look very similar in person, but this is a lot more pink coral. This is a lot more orange. But when you put it all together and then add that blue, it just kind of creates this really lovely combination. So I can post a picture of a close-up of this whole area here, so that if you're putting a necklace together with that beaded chain, you can see what I did. This is one of those long acquired TierraCast toggles. I do have some at the shop. I don't have them listed on the website. So if those kinds of things are things you're looking for, always feel free to shoot me a message, and I can figure out what we can do for you. But that is our tutorial for today. And I think I'm probably going to have to go pick my food up off my porch and take care of my little doggy. But maybe I can come on live in a little bit, and that would be on Facebook, to share about some new springy beads that we've just released this week. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It was great chatting with you, Deb and Rosalinda. And for anyone else who's watching now or after the live, we appreciate you. And if you are looking for products for this project, make sure and hop over to beadstoliveby.com. That's our website for our small business, and we really appreciate your support. So have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.